This is for educational use only. Our group grants permission for our instructor, Mr. Roldan Ardines, to use this as educational material. Copyright infringement is not intended.
Good day, everyone. Today, our group will be sharing about the contemporary global governance. Before dividing into details, let's first reflect on this question. So, the question is, how can countries with all their differences come together to solve that affects us all? That, my friend, is where the global governance comes in. What is global governance? So, global governance simply means the way the world manages its shared challenges. It is not about one government, but rather about cooperation where nations, organizations, and institutions work together to create and to solve conflicts and respond to issues that cross borders. For example, there is no country that can stand alone. Like the COVID-19 pandemic, we saw how nations had to cooperate and sharing vaccines, medical supplies, and information. So it's like a bridge that connects gaps between countries, reminding us despite our differences in culture, language, politics, we all share the same earth. And so, governance in a global scale, it is not relevant but also necessary for peace, development in our interconnected world.
Now that we understand what global governance is, let's compare the two ideas often mentioned alongside it, internationalism and globalism. Internationalism emphasizes collaboration between sovereign states while maintaining their independence and national interests. It supports institutions like United Nations, where countries work together through treaties, diplomacy, and collective decision making, but still prioritize their own sovereignty. Globalism goes beyond state-to-state cooperation and promotes the idea of a more interconnected world where global institutions, multinational cooperation, and transnational organizations play a dominant role in shaping policies. Globalism often seeks to reduce the power of individual nation-states in favor of global network rules and marketing that transcends borders. Now, let's determine the difference between internationalism and globalism. Globalism means border matter less because big companies and powerful countries influence trade, culture, and even politics across the entire world. The goal is to create one global system where national boundaries are not as important. Internationalism, on the other hand, is different. It means countries remain independent but choose to work together for peace, trade, and progress. Borders are respected but cooperate is encouraged. In short, globalism minimizes borders, push for one global system. Internationalism respect borders, encourage cooperation.
International relations today are not only shaped by the actions of states, but also by a number of institutions that provide order, cooperation, and problem solving on a global scale. These institutions help countries manage conflicts, improve trade, strengthen economies, protect human rights, and deal with global issues like climate change, terrorism, and pandemics. To make global governance work, we need strong institutions. Some of the most important are the United Nations, the World Trade Organization, the International Monetary Fund, and the World Bank. The most well-known institution is the United Nations, established in 1945 after World War II. Its main goal is to prevent future wars and promote peace among nations. The UN has almost all countries as members, making it a truly global body. The UN Security Council is responsible for maintaining peace and security by authorizing peacekeeping missions and sanctions. The General Assembly gives all countries a platform to voice their concerns. The UN also has specialized agencies such as UNICEF, which protects children's rights, and UNDP, which promotes development. Overall, the UN acts as the central institution where nations cooperate on political, humanitarian, and security issues. Global trade and finance are guided by three major institutions: the World Trade Organization, the International Monetary Fund, and the World Bank. Each plays a unique but interconnected role in ensuring economic stability and growth across nations. The World Trade Organization regulates the rules of the international trade. It works to reduce tariffs and trade barriers, making global commerce smoother and more predictable. For example, is the Boeing-Airbus dispute between the US and the European Union, where the World Trade ruled on subsidies given to aircraft companies. It also provides a formal process to settle disputes between member states, ensuring fairness in trade relations. The International Monetary Fund is mainly concerned with financial stability. It provides short-term loans and policy advice to countries in economic crisis, such as those facing currency devaluation, inflation, or debt problems. Its goal is to prevent financial collapse and restore stability. Unlike the IMF, the World Bank focuses on long-term development. It finances major projects in developing countries, such as roads, schools, hospitals, and energy systems. By doing so, it aims to reduce poverty and promote sustainable development. For example is the Philippines, the typhoon recovery. After the Typhoon Haiyan, the World Bank funded housing, livelihood support, and infrastructure rebuilding to help millions of affected Filipinos. The World Trade Organization, the International Monetary Fund, and World Bank work together to strengthen the global economy. The World Trade Organization ensures fair trade, the IMF stabilizes financial systems, and the World Bank supports long-term growth. Collectively, they provide a framework that benefits both developed and developing countries. For security, institutions like the North Atlantic Treaty Organization are important. It is a military alliance formed in 1949. It is based on a collective defense. If one member is attacked, the others must defend it. A strong example is its response after the 9/11 terrorist attacks in the United States, when all members supported America under Article 5 of the treaty. This alliance has prevented major wars in Europe and continues to address modern society threats such as terrorism and cyber attacks. Law also governs international relations through institutions like the International Court of Justice or ICJ and the International Criminal Court or ICC. The ICJ settles disputes between countries such as border conflicts or treaty disagreements, such as the maritime boundary dispute between Somalia and Kenya in 2021, where the court ruled on control over resource-rich waters in the Indian Ocean. The ICC prosecutes individuals for serious crimes like genocide, war crimes, and crimes against humanity, such as the trial of former Congolese rebel leader Thomas Lubanga, who was convicted for using child soldiers. These courts ensure that there is a rule of law in international relations, making leaders in states more accountable for their actions.
Roles and functions of the United Nations. The United Nations deserves special attention because of its major role in globalization. The UN acts as a peacekeeper, mediator, and humanitarian provider. It helps settle conflict, send peacekeeping missions, protect human rights, and support countries in times of disaster. Its specialized agencies like the World Health Organization, UNESCO, UNICEF react out of million people across the globe. The UN is like the heartbeat of international cooperation. making sure no nation is left behind. Through global summit and agreement, the UN addressed pressing concerns like climate change, poverty reductions, education. Truth without the UN, the idea of global governance will be incomplete.
Global governance aims to create cooperation among nations in addressing shared problems. However, in the 21st century, it faces several critical challenges that often limits its effectiveness. Three of the most pressing are the power struggles, terrorism, and agreements among states. So first is power struggle. A major challenge is in the imbalance of power in international institutions. Strong nations with economic or military influence such as the United States or Russia or China often dominate decision making in organization like United Nations or World Trade Organizations. This creates tension because small or developing countries may feel included or underrepresented. As a result, global policies may reflect the interests of powerful states rather than serving the common good, making cooperation more difficult. So the second is the terrorism. Another challenge is the rise of terrorism as a global threat. Terrorist attacks are unpredictable and across national borders, targeting civilians, governments, and international security. Events such as the 9/11 attacks and the growth of extremist groups highlight how terrorism disrupts peace and stability worldwide. Combating terrorism requires intelligence, sharing, joint cooperation, and cooperation between countries. Yet, political rivalries and mistrust often prevent nations from coordinating effectively, leaving gaps in the global response. The third is disagreements among states. Disagreements between countries also weaken global governance. Nations have different priorities and national interests, which makes reaching common solution difficult. For example, trade negotiation often stall because countries disagree on tariffs, subsidies, or market access. Similarly, in addressing climate change or security issues, states argue over responsibility and commitments. These disputes slow down international actions even when urgent cooperation is needed.
Let us begin by addressing the central question. Is the state still relevant amid globalization? The straightforward answer is yes, absolutely. Even though globalization allows people, goods, information, and ideas to move freely across borders, and states remains the key structure that defines who we are as a people. It is the state that provides us with national identity, creates laws, and maintains order, and upholds sovereignty to protect its citizens. In other words, globalization may expand our horizons, but the state is still the anchor of stability and authority. Now, what does the state actually do in the age of globalization? It continues to serve as the official representative of its citizens in international discussions, whether it is a trade negotiation, climate agreements, or peace talks. It is the state that speaks on behalf of the people. More importantly, it ensures that international agreements are not one-sided but instead bring benefits to its citizens, such as economic opportunities, environmental protection, and security. Thus, the state is not overshadowed by globalization. It adapts to it and ensures that national interests are defended in the globalization arena. Some might think that with global governance, the power of states weakness, but the truth is the opposite. Global governance does not erase the state, it actually strengthens its role. Why? Because every country, whether a superpower or a small developing nation, is given a voice to solving worldwide issues through organizations such as United Nations, World Trade Organization, and World Health Organization. States come together to face problems no single country can solve alone, like pandemics, climate change, terrorism, or financial crisis. In the sense, globalization highlights the importance of states working collectively while keeping their sovereign identity intact. To conclude, contemporary global governance is humanity's effort to act as one global community. It is not about replacing the state, but about uniting states so that solutions to global challenges are more inclusive and effective. This remains us that despite difference in culture, power, or wealth, humanity's survival and progress rely on unity, cooperation, and compassion as citizens of both our nation and the world. We share responsibility for building a future where governance truly extends beyond borders.